Are you still sitting on the fence regarding Star Citizen? Have you had your eye on it for a while but can't make up your mind? Have you seen the stunning visuals but you've heard that it's a buggy mess? Well, I was in the same boat as you, and after a lot of research I finally decided to take the plunge. And in this video I'd like to share with you why I decided to invest in a Star Citizen starter pack.
Now, I am not a Star Citizen fanboy, nor am I paid by CIG. I am just a regular dude who loves spaceships. I play Elite Dangerous and No Man's Sky, as well as X-Plane 11 and Anno 1800. I'm just a regular dude who loves ships. I'll be looking at what's good, what's not so good, what is there to actually do, and what I need to run it hardware-wise, and also what it takes should I decide that I would like to get my butt into a spaceship. Okay, so let's get cracking. First of all, let's look at the bad. Number 1. Star Citizen is not actually a game. It is an alpha, which means that it is very much still in development, which means that not all of the planned content for the game is actually in there yet, and well, there are 1 or 2 bugs, some of which are outright hilarious, and some of which will drive you mad, and some will just flat out break stuff and crash you straight to desktop, although I have to say the latest release, which is currently 3.7.1, crash to desktop has been a very rare thing for me, and it has been reasonably stable. But just bear this in mind, it's an unfinished thing, it's a work in progress, and so stuff may not be working the way that the developers intended to at this stage. Number 2, there's no persistence yet. Star Citizen's development schedule currently means a new point patch every 3 months or so, and unfortunately this means wiping the database that saves all of your progress when you log off the game. As long as you are fine with knowing that whatever stuff and things you've managed to accumulate whilst running around in the verse won't be carried over to the next patch, you'll be fine. Although, having said that, there is a reasonably good possibility that the next major update, which is currently 3.8, which is scheduled for later on this year, will see at least some persistence going forward, most likely in the shape of Alpha UEC and Alpha UEC purchases, so all of the loveliness that you have bought, including any ships, guns, pants, armour, may persist after each update going forward, but this is not 100% confirmed yet. Number 3. The universe is just not that big. Yet. There is currently just one playable star system in the Star Citizen universe, the Stanton system. So for those looking for a massive sandbox to tool around in, spanning hundreds of thousands of light years and dozens of star systems, you may be a little disappointed. Having said that though, Stanton is still a pretty large expanse, and there are quite a few different planets and moons that you can visit, like the moons of Crusader and the vast sprawling megapolis of Arcor, or the planet Hurston and all its different biomes. It's just not finished yet. It's an alpha. As development progresses though, there will be multiple systems for us to visit, and in fact, if rumours are correct, we may well be seeing the very first of these new systems revealed later this month at CitizenCon. At any rate, there will be more, just not yet, and the exact number is not really known. Some say 5 to 10 by release, others say more. There was an original quote saying 100 or so systems, but who knows. One thing is for sure though, that they will be varied, unique and interesting places to visit once we finally get them in the game, and certainly if the current Stanton system is anything to go by. Number 4. There are not many gameplay loops right now. When the game finally releases, there will be a whole number of different career paths that citizens can take to earn that bread in the verse, ranging from cargo hauling and mining to more combat-focused roles such as mercenary and bounty hunter. These roles are all currently, however, under development, and many are still being fleshed out. You can currently run some simple courier missions, taking a box from A to B for around 1500 Alpha UEC, the local deliveries, and anything up to 8900 Alpha UEC for deliveries across system. Some basic bounty hunting and mercenary missions are also available, along with some pretty cool investigation missions at some of the newly introduced caves found on some of the planets and moons. These are pretty neat and well worth doing in my opinion, although do take some flares with you to mark your route, as it is very easy to get lost in some of these caves. Basic mining is also represented in the shape of the Prospector, a purpose-designed and built small-scale mining vessel by Musashi Industrial and Starflight Concern. And if you don't have the Prospector, then don't worry, you can get down and dirty with a simple handheld multi-tool equipped with a mining attachment and spelunk your way to riches. Many more gameplay loops are currently under development and are actively being fleshed out as we speak. Okay, and so now the good. Number 1, it looks amazing. No, really, it's simply gorgeous. The game runs on Amazon's Lumberyard engine and uses some pretty sophisticated programming to bring you all of the lovely eye candy loveliness. Fidelity is the word of the day here, and it is everywhere. Ship fidelity, prop fidelity, character fidelity, scenery fidelity. CIG's attention to detail is often a wonder to behold, and you can just spend hours wandering around looking at stuff. The planets are breathtaking to look at, and performance is actually pretty reasonable considering the fidelity that they've managed to stuff into every single frame. 2 of my favourite places to visit right now are Crusader's moon Daymar, a small desert moon with a thin atmosphere, very reminiscent of Tatooine, and Lyria, a cold and inhospitable moon orbiting the planet Arkle, both very different biomes and bestowed with enough eyeball-popping fidelity as to have you entertained for hours. The ships are also spectacularly well endowed, with a pant-raising level of fidelity that are sometimes enough to just make you weep. There are currently around 80 or so flyable, drivable vehicles in the game, and each has its own unique feel and character. I could devote an entire video alone just to the ships and vehicles. My particular favourites include the Constellation series by RSI, the Misk Freelancer, and the Little Anvil Terrapin. Each ship manufacturer has its own unique design philosophy, and ships are often focused on a specific role. The Freelancer, for example, is geared towards medium-sized freight hauling, though it can turn its hand to just about anything. The Terrapin, on the other hand, is pretty useless at hoarding cargo, but is much more adept at sneaking about and discovering stuff. It's what's known as a pathfinder, you see. Number 2, the sounds are pretty good. Again, it's all about fidelity and attention to detail, and CIG has done a wonderful job on the sounds in this game. Although I have to say, I don't quite think they're on par with Elite Dangerous for some truly immersive in-game sound yet, but they have the potential to surpass even ED at some stage. We'll see. The soundtrack itself is absolutely gorgeous. Composer Pedro Camacho has created some truly epic tunes to accompany this game. Ones of particular note are First Light and the Grim Hex tune. It's actually worth visiting Grim Hex and running the risk of getting your ship shot out from under your ass just to hear this music. Number 3, the devs are pretty open with their updates and roadmaps. Star Citizen is an open development and crowd-funded game, and for the most part they do a pretty decent job of keeping their backers up to date with what's going on in the development cycle and what to expect next in the way of gameplay and what they're currently working on, details of which can usually be found on their website at robertspaceindustries.com in various different places. Now, obviously they're not perfect, I don't think any company is, but personally I think they do a pretty bang-up job of keeping everybody up to date, and I feel like at least I have a pretty good idea of what's going on, what they're currently working on, and what I have to look forward to. Okay, so all of this sounds pretty good, eh? But what do I actually need to run Star Citizen? I heard that I need a Cray supercomputer just to see the menu screen. Not true. CIG have recently deployed some pretty groundbreaking tech that leverages SSD technology, multi-threading capabilities, and while wringing every single last ounce of performance from your GPU, you may actually be surprised to learn that Star Citizen can be very playable even on a pretty modest gaming PC. I encourage you to check out the telemetry page on the RSA website, link in the description below. Okay, WizPig, I'm in. What do I do next? Well, get your butt on over to the RSI website and sign up. It's pretty straightforward. To get into the persistent universe, which is all the clips and stuff that you've been seeing in this video in the background, you will need to get a starter pack, and you can pick one of these up for $45, which I think is actually pretty reasonable considering the fidelity that you get. This will give you a starter ship, either a Mustang Alpha or an Aurora MR, which, although both pretty simple and humble, are a very decent place to start. After entering all of the details and downloading the client and game package, you'll be ready to dive in and start tooling around in the verse in your newbie pajamas and shiny new ship. From there, the adventure is up to you. Shameless plug time, but if you do decide that you would like to sign up for a starter pack, then you can actually use the referral code that is down in the description below, which will give you an additional 5,000 Alpha UEC that you can spend to get a new set of pajamas or a gun or some pants or whatever you want to do, but anyway, link in the description below. So, conclusion. Why did I decide to back Star Citizen?
Well, if you haven't guessed already, I am a bit of a sucker for spaceships, and Star Citizen has some pretty epic spaceships. I signed up for Elite Dangerous way back in Alpha during development of that game, and have enjoyed many thousands of hours just messing about in the Milky Way galaxy because spaceships. Now, I've had my eye on Star Citizen's development for quite some time, but I just never felt the time was quite right to commit to the project. Don't get me wrong, it all looked very promising and the hype was certainly alluring. I just felt that given the scale and scope of the project, it was going to be hundreds of years before we even got to sample anything tangible or even approaching close to what Chris Roberts had in mind with his original idea. For me, that all changed in Alpha 3.6 when I finally decided, right, that's it, I'm going in. 3.6 for me had just the right amount of stability, performance, and, well, stuff to do, albeit in a limited capacity, and so I grabbed an Aurora starter pack and dived in. And to be honest, I have been having a blast. Star Citizen has had its ups and downs, and I believe they have made enough progress now in the right direction, and the future looks pretty exciting. $45 for me to get involved with this project at this stage is just not too high a price to ask, in my very humble opinion. So, if you like this video, tickle that like button, click the notification icon, and leave a comment below and let me know why you think Star Citizen may or may not be worth backing right now. And thank you for watching.